Hello and welcome to this heart-centered video series. I'm going to talk a little bit today about heart-centered living through the lens of what it isn't. And this particular video is inspired by a couple of questions that I've received over the last few months from people who are readers of mine. So I want to make a couple of requests here before I begin. Number one is, connect to me. Go to my website, michaellennox.com, and on the upper left-hand side, you'll see an opportunity to join my newsletter. Please do that. Also, if you're seeing this video through some other mechanism than YouTube, go to YouTube and find me at Lennox Dreams and become a subscriber so that you receive notices of these videos directly. But most importantly, if you have specific questions about anything around heart-centered living, meditation, relationship issues, anything that comes to mind that you're working with or struggling with, send me a question and I'll keep track of what I hear from readers and viewers and begin to address them over the coming months. This specific video is coming out of this kind of thing where people have sort of written to me, well, what is heart-centered living? I get confused because I follow my heart, or I think I'm following my heart, and then terrible things happen and I'm in pain again. So I wanted to address this. First and foremost, do not confuse heart-centered living with sweetness. I mean, yeah, if you're in your heart, you're more likely to act from a place of kindness because kindness is the way of the heart. But it is not necessarily the go-to mechanism of heart-centered living to go straight to something sweet and kind if underneath the surface there's something challenged and painful or grieving going on. We call that the spiritual bypass. So let's be very clear about what the spiritual bypass is. That's when you have this idea of the mind says, oh, I want to be a heart-centered living person, and this experience out there has just hurt my feelings. Oh, but all is love and light, right? Okay, so I'm just going to go to all love and light. Oh, it's okay, all is love and light, I forgive you. Or this awful thing has occurred in my life, a circumstance, a relationship, an appearance of an illness, and I want to go to the heart-centered place, and I say, oh, well, I accept this experience, it's all love and light. Now, that's where we want to get to, and that's what heart-centered living allows us to do. But if you go too fast, you are avoiding the darker corners of your psyche. Do not do this. Be careful of the tendency to try to go to the loving, light part of your soul and psyche consciousness before you are ready. One of the ways to handle this is through writing. Sit down before you sort of jump to love and light. Go to the anger first. Say you have a circumstance that has appeared in your life and it is tripping you up. Sit down and write, I am angry that. Then I am sad that. And then get to the deep desire of my heart now is. This is a standard forgiveness exercise. There'll be a video on this with more specificity to it. But you understand that if we jump too fast to the end before going to the murky waters that come up first, we are not serving ourselves. So please be careful of the tendencies to jump and run to the love and light portion of your consciousness if you're leaving the darkness and the shadow and the anger and the grief underneath the, tucked somewhere away in the corner, pretending it isn't there. It isn't there because, oh, no, I want to live in my heart, and my heart is only a yummy place. No, the heart is not just a yummy place. The heart is the center. The center of all places, which means that from the heart center there is the love and the light, but there's also the shadow and the challenging, the dark and the stumbling, all. And we want to be conscious of all of this. So this leads me to the next piece of this, which is, well, what if my heart tells me to do something, I follow my heart, and then I'm in pain because the thing I followed caused me grief? Well, I call this the it was a good idea at the time syndrome, and good ideas at the time are good ideas at the time. And if you wind up following a heart's desire, and finding yourself in a painful, grieving experience, then you're in a karmic lesson. Karmic lessons cannot be avoided. It is by moving through these karmic lessons that when they come up again, we recognize them. Oh, right, I did that pattern already. I didn't follow the red flags. Like, this is always, so obvious after the fact. In the unrequited love department, when that person that comes up that looks like everything we've ever desired, we're missing the red flags that show us that that person might not be available for the love that we really desire at the center of our hearts. But we follow the heartful impulse and find ourselves tripping over the grief and the anger and the betrayal and the disappointment. You cannot avoid a karmic lesson if that's where you're at. We trip on our consciousness until we see the tripping mechanism clearly before us. And this can only be achieved by going through these lessons again and again and again. And once in that grieving, challenged place, we take advantage of that by saying, what can I learn? What pattern has been enacted once again? And if you pay attention, the distance between inciting incident and healing should be getting shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter, to the point where one day, miraculously, the inciting incident and the healing happens at the same time. And that's the moment our heart-centered consciousness allows us to no longer have to make the choice that's going to trip us up so that we learn the lesson. We've already learned the lesson, and we can say, I've been here. I don't have to do this yet again. And by the way, after that happens, there's real consciousness of those opportunities before you make the choice, but the opportunities don't cease to go away. We just simply see them when they come up and they say, oh, yep, been here, done that. Chosen the unrequited love path. I've gone to the hardware store and asked them where the milk is so many times I've finally stopped going to the hardware store when I'm out of milk. So if you're still engaged in this pattern and it's troubling you, just take the opportunities as they come. Do the diligent work to clean up the pain and suffering, in air quotes, that comes, and trust that this is your journey, your path to more and more and more consciousness. I hope this has been of value. Please be in touch. Thank you.